A Realty debate on Bangalore's property market. 400 out of 500, that's Fortune 500 companies are based out of Bangalore. The income of Bangaloreans is estimated to be 70% higher than the national average. So clearly it's a market to be closely observed and to keep a tab on. Today, we'll get you the reality of Bangalore's real estate market. What have been the price trends? What is the demand and supply situation looking like? Is Bangalore turning more a luxury market than an affordable market? And to speak about all of that with me, Bangalore's top 5 developers who've redefined the city's skyline. Let's welcome M.R. Jaishankar, Chairman and MD of Brigade Enterprises, Jeetu Virwani, Chairman and MD, Embassy Group, Irfan Razak, Chairman and MD of the Prestige Group, Mr. J.C. Sharma, Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Shobha Developers, Ashish Purvankara, Joint Managing Director of Purvankara Projects. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I can only say that it's unbelievably good luck to have all 5 of you on the same platform. So I hope, I hope we can have a really robust and a little bit of a fiery discussion with a lot of truths coming out. Let me start with a curious observation and a good one too. The most glamorous hoardings from the airport to UB City were all, or at least 2/3 from real estate companies. So the market seems to be looking very robust, but when I look at the data, first 6 months seem that there haven't been very many new launches, or at least there has been a dip in new launches. Mr. Jaishankar, would you agree with that?
I mean, it could be, you may be having the overall statistics, it could be for the entire Bangalore, it could from the available data it may be, but if you take developer specific, there are a number of developers who are here, assembled here. We have all got a fair amount of good launches and large launches in the first 6 months. And the market is pretty robust, as you said, and it's quite buoyant. And I think it is, we hope and we are quite sure it is going to be continuing to be buoyant in the next 6 months also. But there is a reasonable amount of supply. At the same time, with a new government at the center, the market is expected to be very bullish.
Okay, what happened then? If you look at all India figures, Mr. Sharma, clearly there has been a dip in new launches. So if you're saying that some developers such as yours could buck the trend, was it just that the demand has been constant and regular, or do you think Bangalore also faced some trouble in the first 6 months of this year, before the elections?
Before the elections and for the first 2 months in this financial year, we had experienced in all our locations that demand had remained subdued, but from June onwards, we do find, especially in Bangalore, a kind of a revival of
so
the
June
demand.
is the turning point. Before June, things were looking slow. Ashish, would you agree with that?
I think it's a combination. So I'll answer in 2 parts. I think existing projects, yes, I'll agree. But having said that, I think the launches that we've had in the last 6 months, those launches have done exceptionally well. Maybe the buyers feel they're getting a good choice of apartments. The pricing in a launch, obviously, they have an advantage. But ongoing projects, yeah, I agree with Mr. Sharma.
So what changed, Mr. Razak? What really changed? I mean, you're saying that existing projects were more difficult to sell, but new launches were selling. Is it because the new launches came at a more rational price?
No, see, like in our company, we launched 2 very major developments. One was the Prestige Lakeside Habitat in Whitefield, and the other one in a different locality, that's Kanakpura Road, is the Prestige Falcon City, and that was all in the first 6 months of the calendar year, apart from the other smaller ones. And these have done extremely well. Now, if you ask me why does a ready product probably or under construction, which is 50% away, go slightly slower than the one that gets pre-launched or launched, it's only that when the customer has to enter, they enter in that property now. So the payment that they have
Outgo
to
is
make,
much higher.
outgo is much less. Because initially within a month of their booking, they have to just top up to 20%, and then the balance has to be paid over a period of time. Whereas if a customer gets into a project that is 50, 60, 70% developed, they obviously have to pay a much larger number, so they may as well probably wait till the completion and pick it up as a ready product. So what really happens, which we have seen,
Right.
And I think my friends here will also agree is, you sell whatever you can at the launch per time, whether you decide as a strategy in your company, whether it's 50, 60, 70%, and you clear up that stock. And after that, the balance, the best thing to do is to hang on to and to sell it only at completion, because once the product is completed, there's no way that the product will not sell, because then the customer sees the full picture. And I believe Bangalore developers do the best job in terms of look, feel and finish. So the customer also has that choice.
I can't play the devil's advocate on that point because in NCR, I'm bashed about the fact that I'm very, very favorable to Bangalore developers on especially the quality and customer service point. But it's
true.
all-
When it is
I'm
the
on your
truth,
side on that
yeah.
point, but many other things that I still want an answer to. So if you're saying that, all right, first 6 months weren't really slow or at least didn't bother the developers here, are we agreeing to that? I mean, that's a big statement to make. All India, there was a lot of distress in the real estate market.
Yeah, but the most important thing in Bangalore for years has been that they're mostly genuine buyers. You know, you don't get people, I don't think any of us get people who want to buy a tower of a residential building from us and then try to resell it or buy few floors. So they're mostly genuine buyers, and like Irfan correctly said, that people want to pay over the time because they're buying for their own use. They're, we Indians like to save a lot, so you buy an apartment for your daughter, you buy for your son, then you buy a second apartment for your daughter once you have a little more money. So people like to pay in installments and
It's
larger
mostly an
projects.
end-user
So give
market.
them. And also the crux is the large part of the market is this mid segment, and
I was coming
which
to
is
that.
in Bangalore rightfully. I don't know. I don't think that we have some sort of a cartel, but by default we price our products much
I'm
better
glad
than
you said.
everybody else in the country.
Okay,
So it's not highly priced, or if the market moves up, the prices don't go up in Bangalore so fast as it goes up in lots of other parts of the country, and then it slows down. So I think that also plays an important role because
Fair
it's a stable
enough.
market.
I
So
think
let's talk
Bangalore, I think Bangalore developers are much more responsible. I like to put it that way. As far as the pricing is concerned.
As far as pricing is concerned, so let's focus a bit on pricing. It's not as if Bangalore now doesn't have the distinction of also becoming the new luxury capital of India, but we'll come to that a bit later. I'm curious to understand what your view is on RBI actually now characterizing under priority sector housing up to 65 lakhs in Bangalore city for loans up to 50 lakh rupees. Is that a big positive, Ashish? Especially because you're in that segment in a big way.
So we have Provident, which is in that space, the premium affordable space. I think it's a very big positive. While I think this sector has been doing well. So we launched Provident in March of 2009 and we have done exceptionally well. I think this move by RBI and in the recent budget will make it more affordable, put more money in the hands of the consumer, make loans in that space much more cheaper and encourage people to buy their homes. So I see the market growing further.
Will it encourage a developer like you to look more towards, I mean, there is a luxury portfolio right now, which is very visible in the Brigade Enterprises portfolio. There is also premium homes, but now will you concentrate and look at the opportunity of budget homes? And I'm talking about everything 65 lakhs and below. So I'm saying 50 to 65 lakhs.
No, we already, as far as Brigade Group is concerned, we already have a substantial.
How much would that be out of your portfolio?
Nearly 10,000 apartments we have in this 65 lakhs and below. And to be fair, I think the government has been very right in classifying it 65 lakhs and below as the affordable or the budget homes. And other than Mumbai and Delhi, I think for rest of the city, I think it's a very, very good figure that the government has been very fair in fixing the figure.
So you're saying as a business strategy, it's not that you are going to look at that segment anymore. You've already been looking at that
We are
segment.
already looking at that. In fact, a number of our projects are even in the range of the 30 to 50 lakhs. And 65 lakhs was considered, I would say earlier a mid segment, 65 to 100 lakhs. Today, I think the definition of affordable homes, there was no definition as such. Today, the government has come out with a definition, which is positive.
All right. So if Mr. Razak, if I were to come to you, look at your luxury portfolio and tell me, going forward, what is it that you would like to do more for Bangalore City? What kind of homes would you like to give Bangalore City?
See, I have always been advocating that the volumes will come from the mid segment. And they will continue because housing in our context, in the Indian context, not even in Bangalore context, there is a need, and the need will continue to be there. It only depends on how affordable it is to buy a home. So we've been concentrating on that mid segment, and that's how we've been able to get those volumes. Like if you look at my operational note that we released just 2 days ago, the quarter gone by, we've done 1400 crores of sales, which just tells you now that it will not come only from the luxury segment, and you have to have, see, luxury is there, but then that's a niche market. It's a small market. There's a different target.
It has the biggest hoardings though. I guess that needs selling. Affordable homes and budget homes don't need selling.
Exactly, but then you see, one more thing is, Bangalore's affordable homes looks like luxury homes.
Yeah.
Okay, now I will take that with a pinch of salt, if not a bag full of
The
salt.
pricing of the luxury
Yeah.
flats in Bangalore is at a mediocre level in some other cities. And I think every one of us has a threshold of how much luxury can we sell.
But 4.2 crores, Mr. Virvani, is luxury in any city of India.
But even if you look at Delhi, in a lot of places, 4.2 crores are in Bombay. To sell that kind of flat, people need to just buy. I mean, there is the capacity or number.
So
of
what
flats
you're
being sold.
getting for luxury in Bangalore might be higher than what? Okay, but let's come back a little bit to Mr. Sharma. What are the corridors that you see? Is it so? You keep talking about inflation and how difficult it's the cost of land, how difficult it is to keep costs under control. So how long do you think that you'll be able to give a product under 65 lakh rupees, and how far do you have to go out from Bangalore city to give that?
Let's understand our math clearly. See, why Bangalore has been growing? Because it has been generating the highest quantum of these white collar jobs, and there has been an increase in the double income. Today 65 lakhs rupees is the right spot where Bangalore is. Probably incidentally, when Reserve Bank of India decided this limit, he did not have in mind Bangalore, but in our view that is the right sweet spot where most of us.
Hyderabad got even more lucky.
But Hyderabad doesn't have that kind of a demand. There is still an uncertain environment. This is the place where we have been absorbing highest quantum of office space, highest quantum of white collar jobs, and today the demand has been end user driven, speculation has been the least, and the availability of the land and the development of the residential space has been to support the commercial space or vice versa.
So give us some growth corridors. I mean, where do you think what are the future growth corridors for mid-segment homes and budget homes?
If you really look at last 15 years, we had grown towards this south and the southeast side of Bangalore.
Right.
With the airport coming up in the north now, you find lots of development happening, and Bellary Road is becoming kind of a new MG road for all of us, sort of a thing. So it becomes another growth corridor. Thanks to Electronic City now, being there in the business for last 20-25 years, you find that segment, that area also from Bannerghatta Road and Kanakpura Road to moving towards the Electronic City as well. So little bit on the western side, if you leave aside, most of the all other areas in Bangalore has got great growth potentiality, and it can go up to 35 kilometers from the city center, from where we are having this.
You're confident 35 kilometers has good connectivity,
I think it's
Mr.
clearly
Virvani?
smaller cities around Bangalore. So, everywhere the Kanakpura market is
most,
strong.
I think most directions of Bangalore, the roads are good for up to 25 to 35
Yes.
kilometers, be it the Devanhalli Road, be it the
Whitefield
Old
Road.
Madras Road, Hosur Road, Whitefield Road, it's all, even the Tumkur Road, with quite a few highways coming up and have come up. The approach is pretty good now.
Okay, so now final question which everybody wants to know, will Bangalore continue to move in the range of in terms of pricing? So let's first take budget and then I will take a consensus on luxury. In budget, and we are talking about 50 to about 75 lakh homes, budget changes between a middle income or an upper middle income family, will prices have been growing at the rate of about 10 to 12% in the past. Ashish, do you think that's the rate they'll continue to grow in the future as well?
I think for the major part, you would see a sustainable, reasonable, realistic growth of 10 to 15%. You may see certain pockets where you may see a heightened economic activity, certain infrastructure push, which you may see maybe something higher than the average, which may be closer to 20%. But otherwise, I think it'll stay around the 10 to 15%.
What about luxury, Mr. Virvani? Where do you think the luxury market will go and how will
You know, the luxury market is quite strange. It's more depend on the quality of development you do. So, you know, people in that size of money who are willing to buy are actually today, I think in Bangalore, because you know, among most of developers, the quality standard is quite high, and people's expectations are quite high in terms of quality product, and they're willing to pay a price if the location is good, is random. But again, like I mentioned earlier, luckily most of us have controlled even the price rise on the luxury segment in a very slow and gradual manner. So we, you know, we would rather sell 200 apartments than sell 20 apartments and jack up the price to a very high level, which becomes unreachable, which happens in a lot of other cities.
Mr. Razak, is there a conscious strategy for luxury?
It has to be seen, whether it's luxury, whether it's mid-income or whatever, if you adopt this cost plus strategy, and see, that plus could be anything. I mean, it could be what you want for your product, and ultimately it's the ticket size that matters. Like you mentioned, the hoardings 4 crores and 5 crores. Now, why do you have the hoardings for 4 crores and 5 crores? That tells you a story that 4 crores and 5 crore homes need to be publicized, they need to be popularized, and there's not too many you know, buyers in that range. Right. Having said that, in the last month, like Mr. Sharma mentioned, from June onwards, they suddenly is a spurt in the activity in the buying of these high-end homes also.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting to know. So the buyers coming back to the luxury market?
They're coming back, and that is a good trend because any company will have all types of products, and this product was slow. But now when the buyers coming there, it gives us that much more confidence that look, now once this stock gets cleared, you can already start looking at
new projects. All right, we're going to take a very quick short break, but on the other side, Bangalore's office market has been the most robust across India or pan-India over the last 2 years, in fact defying trend of slowdown. We'll come back and look at the office market space. What is it that continues to attract corporates to Bangalore's real estate? Is it the quality of space which is offered? And going forward, how much more traction will you see in the office space market? Because after all, where jobs are created, homes have to be created, and the residential market is equally robust there. We'll be back to look at Bangalore's realty market in a while. Stay with us.